Excuse me. Greetings. I'm hoping my voice will act right today because I'm going to be on here long, inshallah. I know it's early. Come in, come in. Assalamu alaikum. Let me see. Um, get this. Add some people here. Where my people at? Mm, hmm. All right, all right. I can get started. I see some people are joining. Assalamu alaikum, greetings, and thank you so much for joining. Uh, good morning. Excuse me. Um, Thank you so much for joining. Come in, come in, come in. Hopefully, you all saw the reel that I did yesterday regarding the study of heavy metals in tampons. So, this is what we're going to be talking about today, not just tampons. I can't just only talk about tampons. So, we've got a problem, right? Metals in the tampons. And we're here to talk about a solution. Okay. Thank you so much for joining. Please come in. Please forgive my voice. I wanted to hurry up and get started because I do intend to be here for a while, inshallah, Lord willing. And so I didn't get my tea today. So you'll constantly hear me clearing my throat, and please forgive me. So I'll begin with dua. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, assalatu wassalamu rasulullah. Excuse me. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Radia Hutchin. I am the proud owner of Radia Spa Essentials, where we focus on women and girls and body positivity, providing high quality products and services that are designed to help heal the body. Inshallah, Lord willing, right? Excuse me. So, what I want to first talk about is the sanitary napkin industry. So if you caught the reel that I shared yesterday, excuse me, you might have heard some noises as it was playing. Um, and the reason for the noise is because I wanted to bring that to your attention. Those are key words that, um, hopefully I'll remember everything that we want to touch on today. Okay. So if for those of you that are following me on Instagram as well as TikTok, if you or that are here, if you're not following me, I do ask for a follow. If you like what you hear, I want some thumbs up, some hearts. I need some interaction. I'm used to Clubhouse where I can get people to come on stage and speak, um, you know, at the same time that I'm speaking, or it's more engaging. I don't have to read comments and wait for responses in that way. Though there's many that are shy and they don't speak, but nonetheless, you know, I'm used to that kind of engagement. So let's get right to it. Okay, so I haven't done this one in a while, and this particular um, method and brand, which we're not brand bashing, so I'm not going to reveal the company that I'm talking about. But for those of you who buy these products, you know what they are, right? They call this a sanitary napkin, but I'm going to prove to you it's hardly anything but sanitary. Okay. So the first thing is, and they, some of the companies, I like to think those of us who we are called awareness experts have uncovered quite a bit of information. And this is why I believe the tampon scare or study has even come about because of us. Okay. So when you buy your sanitary napkins, if you look on there, right? Um, well, let me do this. This I can do. I want to bring to your attention the ingredients. Okay. Okay. Let me show you all here. Okay. Sorry about that. Somebody's trying to call. I'm trying to make sure you all can see. Let's see. How do I do this? Working in the reverse here. Okay. I know you probably can't read it, especially if you're on StreamYard, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. But so I'm going to tell you what it says. Okay. So there's propyl polythene in here, and it says non-woven, and that's 3%. Excuse me. So, what is polypropylene? It is a type of thermoplastic polymer. A type of thermoplastic polymer. Okay. And so I want you to pay attention. Plastic being the word, the emphasis here. Plastic. Okay. And then it says fluff core wood pulp. Okay. Wood pulp. Pay attention to that. What is that? How is that? So, what we've been able to find out is that as it relates to our feminine products, they, and we all should recycle, right? We all should recycle. However, when you recycle, in order to make it possible for use, you're going to have to involve some chemicals. You're going to have to take it through a bleaching process and things of this nature. And in fact, we found out that's what they did. And this is why many believe that their sanitary products are cotton. Okay. But it is, when we're talking about recycling, we're talking about plastics, we're talking about wood, we're talking about feces, urine, all kinds of chemicals and things of this nature, and so that it can be reused. And so, unfortunately, they're reusing that in our, in our, you also the name, sorry. I was trying not to do that. In excuse me, in their products, in our products, because we're the ones that wear them. Okay, and we'll get into that in a second. And that's 82%. 82%. And then there's polyethylene film, and that's at 6%. And what is polyethylene? It's another form of plastic. Okay. And then finally, excuse me, the pad adhesive, which is 9%. Okay. So now we're going to talk about the pad. And now you notice when I showed you this, it didn't have an expiration date. Okay. No expiration date. So if you, again, referring to the video that I shared with you on the study, it talked about medical to devices. These are registered with the Food and Drug Administration as medical devices. Food and drug medical devices. Okay. I'm going to let you connect the dots. But now, when we take out our products, when we buy them, no expiration date, and they just started listing ingredients. They didn't always list the ingredients. Okay. Anyway, they call this a sanitary napkin, but you can see I'm putting my finger inside of it. I just took this out of here before I started the live. Okay. I didn't make this up. There's a piece of tape right here. Part of that adhesive, that ingredient I just talked about. So for those of you who are doctors or nurses assistants, even dentists, dental hygienists, you know that if there is anything that is open that you use when assisting or examining or using products, that they have to be completely sealed. Otherwise, it is considered unsanitary and you what? Dispose of it. But yet they sell us these products like this. None of us thinks anything of it. And if you're anything like me, especially when I had my children when they were younger, you just toss this in your purse, right? And again, you're a mother, and unless you have a diaper bag, um, you know, so if you're looking at your purse, if you don't have a diaper bag, you're looking at your purse. Everything is in there. For those of you that wear makeup, you got your makeup in there. Again, because you have young children, maybe you have some snacks in there, some loose coins in there, everything that could possibly contaminate this open sanitary, quote unquote, napkin. Okay. But yet, what do we do when we need to use it when it's that time of the month? We just open that up all the way, and then we take it, peel it, of course, and we just put it on. Don't think anything of it. Dust it off, maybe if we saw some crumbs or something on there, and put it on, not thinking anything of it. Okay. So, first, before I talk about that, you just noticed I opened this, right? All the way. And so we're going to talk about why it was open in the first place, why there was openings. So we found out that the chemicals that are used, right? Um, the chemicals are so toxic that if it were left to be completely sealed, it would cause the packaging to expand. It would meaning it would bust, the pad would bust out of the packaging. Okay. So it needs to breathe so it can get rid of all of the chemicals. Okay. And way back when we first uncovered all of this information, and I looked this up because I want you to do your due diligence also. Don't take anything, don't take my word for it. We as Muslims, we don't blind follow. So I hope you're taking notes, but I do intend to keep these lives, inshallah. That's why it's on so many streams. And so you do your due diligence. Okay. But so we found out that, like again, when I looked it up, when I first looked it up, when I looked up I think my search was the harmful ingredients in sanitary napkins. Um, and when it's a general search, you find everything, right? You find information, you find images, you find videos if there's that. And so I found an image, and it really piqued my interest because this person was dressed in a white suit. You couldn't see anything like you see me. You only can see the eyes because they're wearing goggles, and they're wearing, I mean, it's like they were dressed like if, they were going into a building that had a bomb in it. Everything was completely sealed. Okay. And that was associated with harmful ingredients in sanitary napkins. Okay. But yet we put these on again. And so, and many of us, we're heavy bleeders. And so the thicker the pad, the wider the pad, the longer the pad, the better, right? Okay. Not thinking anything of it. Now, interestingly, this particular pad, this was the only one that I could find because we don't use these. So this is a special episode that we're doing here. And normally we stop doing the side by side comparison. We just focus on the solution, our product. But because I'm going for 90 minutes today, I said, let me just pull out all the stops. And I was blessed to be able to find this. But ordinarily in your brand, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong, you see some blue or some green here on your pad, and it's designed really pretty with embroidery and everything, right? Um, well, that's nothing but dye. That is nothing but dye, and it's activated when it gets wet. Wet, so that could be urine, that could be water, and of course your blood. Okay, and so what does that mean? I just told you that this pad was made from recycled trash, wood pulp. Okay, And so with that, like I said, it's we found out that they take it through an 8-step bleaching process so that all the ink, all the poop, all the pee, um, and whatever else was on it, there's no trace of it, but it looks white. And the end product is it looks white. Okay. Um, and so what we have found out, or what we already know, I'm sure you ladies know this, you women, girls, if there's any young ladies on here, um, that when we stand up, when we cough, when we sneeze, we hate doing any of that, right? Especially if we're heavy bleeders, because that's that gush that comes out, right? And um, so with that, we know the proper flow is when we're in an upright position or we're laying down. But the moment that we sit down, if you're wearing an inferior pad, everything that you expel of toxins, you're putting it right back into your bloodstream. Because why? How? Because you are, excuse me, the vaginal area has so many nerve endings. It's an open wound. Okay. And so what goes out goes back in with an inferior sanitary napkin. Okay. And so, what I'd like to do is to talk about a side by side comparison with what we call a solution to this. And then, you know, just when you thought, you were out of high school or college with regards to dissecting, no, we're bringing that back. We want you, if in fact, while you're here, ladies and men, you can do this too. And why are we encouraging the men to get involved? It was a man, the CEO and founder of the company that I'll be talking about, that went viral. He was the first person to go viral when he talked about the ingredients in these pads that we buy and have been using day after day, years after years, generation after generation, right? And I about jumped out of my skin as I was watching him, because before he did that, I'm not a scientist. Otherwise, the breakthrough would have come about as early as 2007, but it didn't happen until 2016. Why do I say that? Because I had my own experiment that I did because of my interaction or reaction, I should say, from wearing these over and over, year after year, day after day. I would be raw. I would be completely raw. And ladies, we talk about any and everything, right? Well, this is the one thing that was not talked about in my circle of women. And so I thought I was the only person that experienced this. So I kept it to myself. It was just between me and God, and I just suffered, right? And so, in moving from one country to another, I'm like, oh my gosh, um, what do we do about this? Um, and so, what happened was, alhamdulillah, my daughter, she was only 11 months at the time, so I was nursing her, and I needed some breast pads. Um, and so I went to the only mall that was functional at the time. When we moved to the UAE, many of you are familiar with UAE because you're familiar with Dubai. You all call it Dubai, but it's Dubai in Arabic. Excuse me. And so I went to the only department store within that mall, as I was encouraged to. And they had American brands. They had everything, right? In this store. I'm looking all through the feminine hygiene products, because that's usually where it is. That's where I had gotten accustomed to seeing it. And I didn't see any breast pads. So I'm going all around the store. Um, I didn't know what the word was at the time for a manager, but I'm going around the store. I'm new, you know, fob, fresh off the boat, right? And so I would go to the register and I would ask, uh, different cashiers, "Tatakalam Inglesi. Do you speak English?" And I finally found somebody that did. And I said, I need to speak to a manager. And so I would go on to wait, and the manager came. And I was like, "Tatakalam Inglesi?" And he said, "Yes." Okay. So I told him, I said, "I'm nursing and I'm looking for nursing pads for my, for me." And I looked everywhere, um, and I didn't see them. And, so we're talking and walking at the same time. And, and then finally, when I said that, he's like, "Oh, no, we don't have that. Uh, They have everything. They had everything but that." I was like, "Wow. Okay." And so I'm a little agitated, frustrated, angry. And he says, "Check the pharmacy." I said, "Okay." So I went to the pharmacy. I try to help myself before asking for help. And I looked everywhere in the pharmacy and I didn't see them. Okay. I know, like I said, I'm new. Most things are written in Arabic. So wasn't sure. And so I go to the counter and again, "Tatakalam Inglesi." Nah, yes. And so I tell them my issue and what I'm looking for. I'm hoping that they'll tell me, "Oh, it's right here." No, 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 no. Again, someone telling me, "No, we don't have them." It's like, oh, God. Again, still frustrated. And so then they said, "Try Mother Care." And it's another store. And so I go there and I could tell it was a European influenced store immediately. And so I'm looking around, I see everything: clothes, diapers, strollers, everything, playpens, cribs. And then, where the diapers are, they also had pads. And I was like, "Ooh, okay." And so I'm looking at that, forgetting that I'm in there for breast pads, right? And I'm like, "Oh," because I see what we always think these are: cotton. I see the word cotton. And then it says 100% cotton. So I was like, "Oh, I wonder if the problems that I'm having when I'm on my cycle, I would have if I switched to this brand." I'm having a whole conversation in my head. And then I'm like snapping out of it. I was like, "You're here for breast pads." And so I'm looking, 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 and I see them. And so of course I grab them. It's the same company, and they just, made pads for the breast for nursing women. And so I grabbed them. Now, mind you, for some of us, this is inshallah very educational. For some of us, breastfeeding is a form of contraception. And so for me, it was. So I wasn't actually even on my cycle, as far as I knew, nowhere near it. But I knew, it would be coming. So I wanted to have what I needed so I wouldn't be caught off guard. And so I wanted to go ahead and buy them, but because I had already bought groceries, I could only get one or the other. So of course I chose the breast pads. But and then I went back and I got the pads. And then when my mens finally came, it was like the best cycle ever. I didn't have those symptoms that I had had before, and I was like, "I knew it, I knew it, I knew it." And so now fast forward to this viral video that this man is dissecting what we will be doing momentarily, inshallah, a feminine hygiene product, a sanitary napkin. As he's doing this and talking about the findings, I, like I said, I about jumped out of my skin and I was like, "I knew it, I knew it, I knew it." And I'm just thinking to myself, after the fact, of course, had I have been a scientist and I had, shared this discovery back in 2007, you'd be looking at a billionaire right now, right? Qadar Allah ma shafa'at. It is as Allah decreed. Anyway, so this is the competitor's path, okay? And so now I'm going to, oh, I didn't put it there. show you our pad. Very thin compared to this, right? This was folded up in three. This was folded up like this. This is ours. Side by side comparison. No comparison, right? So I'm gonna keep that open for a second. Um, so could you imagine you're a heavy bleeder? Perhaps you also have a lot of pain. And you see this. You're like, this ain't gonna do nothing for me. Well, let me tell you. Stay with me. Got a lot going on over here. Okay, so let me introduce you officially to the company that I'm referring to. This is a Black-owned company in Atlanta, Georgia. This is where our headquarters are, here in Atlanta, Georgia. This is where I am, okay? And we have formulated not only panty liners, but pads as well, okay? This right here, one pack of these rain sanitary napkins. I keep trying to do this so that this camera sees it too. I'm on many streams here. Now, in this one pack is only 10 pads, only 10. And this is the moderate or medium flow, okay? Now, I know you heavy women who bleed heavy, we're like, man, miss me with that. No, pay attention. So, first, I want to draw your attention to the construction of our pad. You see, just like the other competitor pad, it has the tape, but there's no opening. There's no opening to the pad. It's completely sealed. So this is a true definition of a sanitary napkin, as it relates to, medical supplies and things of this nature. Truly sanitary. Nothing can get inside of it unless I completely open it, which I am doing right now. Completely sealed. Still. Okay. Now I'm going to open it. And they've gotten better with the plastic. This one isn't, it's a little noisier than ours. But ours is, not, you don't have to worry, we're always embarrassed by a couple of things as it relates to being a woman and being on your cycle. And the noise, when you hear this noise, the noise of opening the package of the pad or pad, they're like, oh God, they know I'm on my period. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we took that into consideration, and you notice you could barely hear me open this. Okay. So the way our pads are designed is the technology of the pad is that it holds 10 times the weight of the liquid. And you'll see that. We're going to test the absorbency. Excuse me. We're going to test the absorbency of this one and compare it to this one. And then we're going to talk about those tampons, okay? All right. So, I wish you all could feel this. We do what we call focus groups, okay? What is a focus group? Well, you'll be right front and center as I would be doing this demonstration. And each step of the way, I'm letting you feel, you would feel this, you would touch this, and you would touch this. And majority of people, when they say they touch ours, it feels like cotton because that's what it is. Okay. Whereas the competitor pads would feel very rough, very rough. And so what we have found out about the competitor's pad and why it feels so rough, why you sisters, why you women may be irritated, why you may be itchy, why you may be red when you wear the competitor's pads. Because I read to you the ingredients. In this particular pad, this one is nothing but plastic. Plastic is non-absorbent, for one. And it, people could be allergic to it. So this is why you're irritated, why you're red, why you're itching. Okay. Um, among other things, but just to name that. Okay. So now what we're going to do is test the absorbency. We're going to start with this one. I'm probably going to have to move the computer since I've got two um, pads that I'm using side by side. I already took the tape off, so I'm going to put that down so it'll be easier for me to put the water there. So interestingly enough, we have found out, oh, before I even go there, why I showed you this. Okay, so with regards to absorbency, we had done a study. This was before it became RAIN. Okay, this was just, we didn't have a name. There was a study done with over 300 women, and all they were given was 10 pads. Okay, so we wanted them to make a journal of their observances in wearing our pad. And every one of them had one of three things going on. So some used all 10 of the pads, whereas others only needed to use 7 or 8 of them. Okay. And um, they didn't, they didn't talk about any pain. Many of them said, they had experienced no pain or reduced cramps. Many of them noticed if they had a 7-day cycle, it was shortened, like 4 days, 5 days. For those that were heavy bleeders or cramping, heavy bleeding, it wasn't, they weren't bleeding as much. Okay. All because they, participated in this study. Okay. And so moving forward, we have our medical advisory board. These are doctors, medical doctors, that have informed us that the average woman on her cycle excretes between 15 milliliters of blood up to 50 milliliters of blood per day on her cycle. Average. I'm not talking about you heavy bleeders, just the average woman. Okay. So I didn't have my measuring cup. Unfortunately, I didn't have one that demonstrated where you will see a 50 mark. So what we're going to do is, this is about half. This, you'll see it says 100. It says 100. So this is about half. And so we're taking the most of the average women and what, and then what in their bleeding, right? Okay, just bear with me. I'm going to try to show it to you as I finish, if at all possible. Just bear with me here. Okay. So I put it on there, all 50 milliliters worth of water. And now I'm going to put another 50 so that I can do the same thing with our pad. So I'm not lying. Let me see. Let me look at it from this way. Yeah. So that's about half, because like I said, it starts at 100 for, to count. Okay. Again, another 50. So now I'm going to put down our pad. See, again, you didn't hear that. I just took it off of the backing. Okay. That's ours. So I'm going to put that, move it again. Okay. Put that down. And now I'm going to pour. You all can't see what I'm doing, of course, but again, I'm going to show you once I finish. Okay. I emptied it. Okay. And this is ours. Okay. So now we're going to, let me see. I've got one napkin here. Why is this red? Just think about your blood. Okay, got two of them. One is red so that you'll be able to see once I show you the absorbency, whether there's water on it or not. So there's nothing on here right now, but I'm going to, since I did the competitor pad first, I'm going to put this on the competitor pad. Okay, and I'm pressing, pressing, pressing. Okay, that's just imagine that being your blood. Okay, so all that water I put on there came out on the pad. I mean, on the napkin. Now I'm going to do the same thing with ours. I'm pressing, pressing, pressing. Bam! Nada. Nothing. Okay. That really thin pad had nothing on it. Nothing. There's nothing on it. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to remember I told you about dissecting. You think you're done. Hopefully you all are doing this with me. You know, otherwise, like I said, we do focus groups, and you be right there with me. So I'm going to take this apart as best I can. Okay. This is the top layer. Ooh. You'll understand why I'm saying ooh in a second. Okay. Hopefully you all saw that. Now, they have changed things since we've released all of the findings that we've had. The pad companies have gone back and changed their pads. Okay. But this one, I said, ooh, because the fibers came off. Okay. So now this is unlike some of the brands that we would always use for our demos when we do a side-by-side comparison. Now they did, like I said, they changed this. This is breathable. It's somewhat breathable. You can see the holes, right? You can see the holes. But ordinarily, with certain brands, it wouldn't be this thin. It wouldn't be that breathable. Why is breathability important? Many women, when they're on their cycles, have issues with yeast infections, right? And so they, we found out because the design of the pad, again, this is theirs. Like I said, they've gotten a little better. It's nothing but plastic. Okay, so let me spend a little time on that. It's nothing but plastic, and plastic doesn't tear. They've gotten better. This tears, but the old stuff, and I'm sure for those of you that may be doing this with me, yours didn't tear. I'm pretty sure, right? You all can let me know in the chat if yours had torn, and if it did, with ease or not. Okay. So yeah, so they've done some changing as far as that. Alhamdulillah, but there's more. Okay. So there's that top layer, like I said, and with the other brands, the other competitor brands, like I said, you would see the blue or green decoration, and that's nothing but dye, which is activated when it gets wet. So again, your body temperature, a normal body temperature, or even some women experience, that they're a lot hotter during that time of the month also. So you've got that, you've got the toxins that you already had in your body, and the toxins from the bleaching of, your inferior or competitor pad, all of that going back up into your bloodstream because it's not that absorbent. Okay. And so this is the absorbency system. Okay. I'm going to wait to put this. What I'm going to do with this is put it in some more water just so you can see how absorbent it is or it isn't. And so now I'm taking our pad. and I'm going to dissect it as well. Just bear with me. Oh, whew, very important. So I want you to notice, you can't really tell right now so much as had I not done this, but we have, this is our leak guard protectors, and it's all throughout the pad. Okay. Why is that important? Because whatever you're excreting stays inside of the pad. Okay. So there's that. And, we got the trusty wings. And we as women, we want those wings. So the pad stays in place that much better. So let me take this off, tear this off so you can see again a side by side comparison here. I was trying not to take the absorbency system off too, but anyway. So just like theirs, very thin, breathable. You can see the holes, right? Oh, there you go. Now, unlike this one, um, dry. You don't see any water, right? Okay, very important. Now this, no, this part isn't wet, but the part I couldn't even pull this completely apart because the absorbency system stayed intact. As you see, ours, it came off completely. Okay, so before we get into the absorbency, I want to talk about this. It's right here. Okay, this is what we call our microchip. Like a computer has a microchip, phones have a microchip, um, our pads have a microchip. What this is algae. For those of you who know anything about algae, algae is alkalizing, it is balancing already. Okay, this is an algae strip, and it has our Nobel Prize winning graphene. Again, take notes, write down everything I'm telling you so that you can look it up after. Inshallah, do your due diligence. Don't blind follow me. Okay. Um, so what is graphene? Graphene um, has been used in hospitals. It's been used for some time now. And why do they use it? Because it is designed to help heal the body. Not that we're injured in having our cycle, but we have, our issues. We have the PMS. We have, I already mentioned about the yeast infections. We have, um, which is bacterial. We have, um, everything, endometriosis, fibroids, and things of this nature, right? So it is designed to help heal the body. Okay. And we're going to talk a little more about it in a minute, inshallah. I just want to get to the absorbency system so we can really test the absorbency system. So now this is ours. Okay. So let me show you again side by side. There's ours. There's, gosh, ours. Oh, goodness. Okay. So what I want to do now is, like I told you, this is interactive. So I want your participation. Which of these has more water? You could clearly see that one has more water than the other, right? So what we want to do is we're going to put the competitor's pad inside of here. Okay. Now we already poured 50 milliliters of water on this. Okay. Now we're going to put, now this has more, right? This one has more. So we're putting this thin pad inside of this one with more water. Okay. So we're going to leave that for a second and talk about the um, the back part. Got my hands for a second. So this is the back part of the pad. Again, they've made some changes since we have been, talking about this since 2016. Um, so this isn't as bad as what it used to be, but this is the back part. Why we talk about this? Because again, um, this is part of the pad. And if it's not structured properly, everything that you excrete of toxins goes back into the pad, back into you. Okay. So there's that. Now, like I said, they've gotten better. You can rip this. Before, we would have difficulty with ripping it. Many would say when we would do our focus groups that it resembles or sounds like um, a Walmart bag, a Kroger bag, a plastic bag. It's that thick. Okay. Now, here's ours. Now, you notice in ours, we have, you see 4 lines? Hopefully, you can see that. Let me see. Ah, I hope you all can see that. There's 4 lines. In those 4 lines are also holes. Okay. So, again, we're talking about the breathability of the pads. Okay. When we have them on. And so, if I had a cup of tea, which I did not get to have this morning just yet, the steam would come through this because of the holes that are in it. Okay. And so, um, again, we have a thing, us women, we have a thing about the noise that our pads make. We don't want everybody knowing we're on our cycle. Not to mention, once we put them on, I don't know if you all do this, if you all still have a tendency to do this, but I remember us as young girls when we would be on our cycles, having what we would call the pad check. Do you see anything? Meaning, it felt like we were wearing a diaper. So, do you see the bulkiness of the pad through our pants? Um, do you see any blood, through our pants? This is what the period check is. Okay. And so now I can kind of put these things to the side. I'm trying to keep everything separate. Okay. This is ours. Okay. So we already had put that pad in 50 milliliters of water. And I didn't measure this, but as you can see, there's still water in it. Why is that important? This is letting you know it's not absorbent. It's not as absorbent as they may advertise. Okay. This is why we have to change our pads so often. Okay. Now we're going to talk about hours. I I put more. Again, it had 50 milliliters of water on the pad, and then I put it in more water than was in this one. Okay. And hopefully you all can tell that it completely absorbed all of that water. So much so, watch this. We turned a liquid into a solid. A liquid into a solid. Now, if you were to feel this, it's not wet. It's not wet. It's cool. Why is that important? It's important because, like I told you, some women experience extra heat during that time of the month, extra moisture during that time of the month. And this is why we have the bacterial infections, why we need diflucan and other yeast uh, creams, to help us after the cycle has ended. Okay. So it keeps us cool, you know, and it's also responsible for, some of you all may have experienced when we have PMS, some of you all may have experienced us when we're moody, right? We go from being, nice to Eveline, you know. Many people have reported of their family members who are on their cycles that that time of the month they don't want to be around them because they're that different, like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of thing. So the women that use our pads are reporting, the family members, they could not even tell when the women who used our pads were on their cycle. Okay. That itty bitty pad, right? And so, what else? Um, Again, the cycles are shortened. The cramping is less, if not non-existent, and things of this nature. And what we encourage women to do is, especially if you're a heavy bleeder, we encourage you to wear our panty liners 1 week prior to your cycle. Why? So that you can become acclimated to the ingredients of the graphene. So these are the panty liners. Everything is all of the things that we have are different. Every color is different because they are different. Now these are panty liners, but this is the one with wings, and this is the one without. And there's 30 in both. Okay, so there's that. And I already showed you our moderate. This is what I use for the demo that I've been doing. And there's 10 in these. Now, let me go up. Because many women, they still want that security, that extra security. So they think that they need a bigger, a longer pad, thicker pad. And so this is the heavy. And there's 8 in here. And then we have what we call overnight or super heavies. Now that doesn't, just because it says overnight doesn't mean that you only wear this at night. This is for the big girls. This is for the girls that want more security. Okay. There's only 7 in here. Why does each one contain different amounts? Because like I told you, when we did our study with the women that we just gave the moderate to, they didn't even use all of these. They didn't even use them all. Okay. So there's that. And so what we also notice, I have one regular client in particular that now she didn't do what I told her at first. She just went straight for these, right? And she had a good experience with them. But then she said, let me do what she told me to do and wearing the panty liners 1 week prior to my cycle. So she did that. And what we noticed, because she would, you can buy my pads online, healthypadsplus.com. You can buy my pads online. And of course, they're, I don't charge as much. It's only $6 per pack online. Whereas if you're buying them straight from me, you're going to be paying $10 a pack. Okay. So she would come and get these. And what we both noticed after, we don't know exactly when, she didn't, journal it, nor did I, but fair to say 3.5, 4 months later, she's like, I don't think I need these anymore. What's the next size under that one? And I would tell her this one. So she started wearing these. She still was doing the panty liners 1 week prior to the cycle, and then she would use these during the cycle. So it would go on. She would go on again about another 2, 3, 3.5, 4 months. She's like, I think I'm ready for these. I was like, what? She's like, yeah. So, and she's been wearing these ever since. Alhamdulillah. Okay. So now let me get back to these. This you saw was inside of the pad. Let me show you all of them. You all want to see what you would be getting. Let me see which way I got here. Okay. So I chose everything with wings. I probably shouldn't have done that because we have another one that we have added to our collection. Anywho, this is the panty liner. Okay. And you see the same strip all throughout the panty liners and pads. Let me go down the line. This is the moderate. See, here's that protection. The leak guard protector is in all. I can't do this to the side, but all of them have the leak guard protector on both sides, all throughout the pad, up and down. Okay. Then this one is the heavy, so it gets longer and wider. This is the heavy, the purple. And then this is the overnight or super heavy. Okay. So now, after we do that, let's get back to this strip. Okay. Like I said, this is what we call the microchip of our pads. Why? Because, like I said, the graphene that's in here is designed to cool, to heal the whole body. Okay. And so we want to show you just how powerful this actually is. So this is another cup of water that I have. And I'm going to, I don't want to saturate it, but I'm going to wet this. Okay. I'm going to wet this and show you just how powerful our pads are. Okay. So we know with regards to energy that, it's important to be energetic, right? Whereas many women during their cycle, they are sluggish. They don't want to get out of the bed. They're cramping too bad to get out of the bed in the first place. Many of them in the fetal position, okay? So we want to prove to you that, our pads are energetic. It will give you help. Like I said, the algae in it is balancing. Ooh. Oh gosh, I never had to do that before. Which way am I going with this? Oh, good. Sorry about that. I've never seen that before. It had me to verify that. I guess I'm still here. I don't know. But anyway, so we want to show you how energizing our pads are, that they're live. Okay. Our pads are live. See, I've got that in my hand. And this, we know, is a light bulb. Okay. No, I'm not getting ready to electrocute myself, but I am getting ready to show you the power of our pads. You see that, right? This is, without electricity, without being plugged in, just a regular light bulb. But the moment I put it on our graphene, it gives light. It shows you the energy in our pad. Okay. And that's why with ours, let me find which side it is. I think I covered it up. But with ours, you're going to get the ingredients. I think I kept it on the same thing on all of them. I did. But you also get an expiration date. You're not going to get that with, what you find in the store. Or you may, Allah, but I know, like I said, 2016, you wouldn't find the expiration date. You would barely find the ingredients. But we provide you with both. We're very transparent. Okay. Here I just put my label on here because I do vending events. So this is how powerful our pads and panty liners are. But wait, there's more. Okay. So now what I want to do, now this is another panty liner. Again, it's completely sealed, making it a true sanitary product. Okay. So what I'm going to do, you can barely hear the noise. Okay. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to rip it apart, make it a little easier for me to get to, a little more difficult to get to the layers, or get through the layers when it's dry versus when it's wet. So I'm going to take that out. And I'm going to show you again something else with regards to our panty liners and pads. Okay, so I just took the middle part out, the graphene strip, and here it is. Okay. Now, so like I said, we when we're on our cycles, we many of us we tend to get yeast infections after our cycle. Um, so if your cycle is 7 days, I know some that are 10. Um, if your cycle is 7 days and you get a yeast infection, you're going to need about another 7 to 10 days or 14 days, on the cream, to get rid of the yeast, right? Okay, so what I have here is iodine and some water. And I'm going to put some drops in here and show you something else. I'm going to put 4 drops in here. Let me hold this because this camera can't see what I'm doing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Why did I do that? So hopefully you could see that it has a yellowish hue to it now. Went from clear to a yellowish hue. Let me see. Is that better? I don't know. You all can. I think you all can see it here. Give me some hearts or something and let me know if you all saw that it looks yellowish. Okay. So why am I doing that? So this is going to act like bacteria. Okay. So we're taking a completely dry, brand new graphene strip, and we're going to put it in this water. And I'm going to swish it around, swish it around, swish it around, swish it around, trying to make sure I don't spill it. Whoop, spoke too soon. I think I put too much water in here. But anyway, trying to do this. Maybe I'll do it this way to help it along because I put too much water in here. Okay. I don't know if you can tell right now, but it went back white. It went back white. How is that? Why is that? Because that's just letting you know the power of the graphene strip, that it will eat through bacteria. Okay. So no more yeast infections after your cycle, inshallah, right? So that's the information I want to share with you with regards to the panty liners and the pads. Okay, again, for those of you that are ready to make that switch, go to healthypadsplus.com, or you can check out that link above. um, okay, now we want to talk about these. For those who love the tampons, okay. One of the questions we always get is, okay, so if the pads and panty liners are that good, are you all going to ever make any any tampons? And the answer is no, an emphatic no. I will probably no longer, be an independent distributor with this company if they ever do that. Why? Because what we're finding out, let me see if I can open it. What we're finding out about the tampon is, okay, this one doesn't have plastic. It's I don't know what that is. But this is your tampon, right? So what we have found for women who suffer with endometriosis, fibroids, and things of this nature, it's because of this. It's because of this. The history behind why this was even created. The man who created this for his wife was because she was a ballerina and or swimmer, one or the other. And she, was concerned about, again, we do that pad check, period check, that, because, you have to wear something very thin, um, and she didn't want anybody to know when she would be on her cycle. So he designed this for her. And this is nothing but a plug. This is nothing but a plug. What's the difference between this and a plug? You know, oh, okay. You have to do it this way, right? Okay. Um, so you're inserting this in the vaginal area. And, I already read to you the ingredients. There's the study that I shared with you in the previous video, part one, even though I didn't label it part one, the video that I just uploaded yesterday, about the study of metals in the tampons. So not only, did you have to concern yourself with the possibility of getting toxic shock syndrome, because the blood has nowhere to go except to stay in the womb when you wear these. And this is why, if you have cramps, if you have endometriosis, if you have fibroids, this is the reason why. We found that we had women to switch to from these to pads and panty liners. No more cramps or minimal cramps. And the blood is able to flow. It's a flow. It's called a blood flow for a reason. This is nothing but a stopper, stopping the blood flow and starting the pain, the formation of fibroids, the formation of endometriosis. And if you are prone to um, miscarriages and you use these, I guarantee if you stop, you make the switch. I challenge you to make the switch to our brand, and you will see a difference. You will definitely see a difference. So, and they're saying there's metals in the tampons, right? Metals. Okay. Now I talked to you about chemicals, but they're saying metals. You know, they didn't say which brands. It was 16 brands that particular news story uncovered. I'm trying to put it back in there. Yeah, there we go. I think it was this way. Don't matter, I guess. But yeah. So questions. Anyone with any questions? Feel free. Unfortunately, with those of you that are on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook and StreamYard, I'm not able to see. Wait a minute, maybe I am. Let me see. No? Yeah, I'm not able to see your comments. Let me see. Can I type anything here? Yeah, post comments to Instagram. Okay. Let me see if I can type here. Nope, I can't type for some reason. Yeah, I don't see how I can see any questions you all may have. So you all are welcome to DM me any questions. But for those of you that have been watching for a while, I do thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, I would love to answer them. Just let me know what your questions are. So again, our panty liners and pads, they are $6 per pack. And, as distributors, we all sell them for $10 a pack when we do our events. There is an opportunity if you would like to lock arms with us and partner with us and become a independent distributor such as us or myself, you are more than welcome to do that. There is a business opportunity attached to this. And why would you want to do this as a business opportunity? You would want to do this as a business opportunity because if you think about the lifespan of, well, first, let me say this. It's a need-based product. As long as there are girls and there are women, we need these products. Everyone from a young girl getting ready to start her mens, even as old as in the 60s, 70s, 80s. Why? And even men are using them. I'm going to tell you how and why. So we're finding that girls are starting their mens earlier and earlier, as young as 8, and finishing their cycle well after 50. There are some that are well beyond that, right? So you're looking at 42 years of potential generational wealth that you can establish for yourself and your family. Okay, because on a need-based product, you know, we need these. Of course, there are some that are doing the cotton pads. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. But some are doing the cotton pads and things of this nature. Um, only thing aside from, you have to, if you're not a nurse or a doctor, you don't know this, but the water has to be a certain temperature in order to make sure that any toxins or bacteria, as you're cleaning them, to help get rid of it as you're cleaning them. And so, I'm good on that. Um, I even have clients that they may wear the cotton, I mean, the of course cotton, reusable, but when they travel, because you never know how long your flight is. Your flight could be an hour, but there could be layovers, there could be storms, uh, luggage could be lost. There's so many mishaps, right, that could possibly happen. So they then make sure that they have our pads and panty liners, when they know they're on their cycle. They don't When they travel, they don't wear those the reusables at all. So um, there's that. Um, what else did I want to tell you all? Um, that's pretty much it. If you're worried about metals, what about the chemicals? Are you worried about that? Um, uh, why would you want to further contaminate yourself? And then they also talked about organic. The word organic. I keep telling people that's a gimmick. That what was wrong with natural? You know, when Allah created everything, He created it naturally. Why are we going above and beyond to use this word organic? Well, supposedly, organic means that there's less chance of getting or having chemicals or the exposure of chemicals in your foods and your products. Well, that study, if you go back and watch my first video, they talk about that there were more incidents of lead or arsenic, in the organic tampons versus the non-organic. Yeah, arson in the organic, and then they were saying lead in the non-organic. Okay, so we're saying neither are in ours. Neither are in ours. Neither of them. So make the switch. If there's someone that you know, like, love, and trust, they need these. We're always looking for gifts to give. Give these women and girls these. For those of you that are into doing rites of passage, I strongly suggest that you gift the young lady that's becoming a woman our products. Because like my daughter, I'm so thankful that she wasn't on her cycle when I stumbled upon this, and these are the only ones that she knows. She doesn't know anything else, doesn't wear anything else. And she's the same person she's always been, from in a premenstrual state to her menstrual state, and then when her mens ends. I don't know when it begins and when it ends, except like if I'm going to wake her up to so she can pray, because us as Muslims, we pray except when we're on our cycles. And so, unless she gives me a warning to let me know ahead of time, I'm not praying, so don't wake me up. I'll go in there. It's like I'm not praying. You know, her personality is the same across the board. You know, so if you men are wondering why we as women are moody, it's because of all of the chemicals that are in our sanitary products that we are being exposed to every single day, every year after year for 40, 50 years. Um, so, ways that men use our products too, ways that they're using it. Let me, because I don't have that over here. Um, the ways that men are using our products. Many men, unfortunately, suffer from. I'm going to do it this way. Yeah. Many men suffer from athlete's feet. Bacteria. I just showed you. It eats up bacteria. So, what are they doing? They're either taking the strip, the graphene strip, or they're taking the panty liners, depending on how big their shoe or foot is, and they're putting it in their sock or in their shoe so that the bacteria gets eaten up. Okay. So there's that. This is how men are using it. How women who are no longer menstruating are using our pads and their findings. These the women who have issue, again, we talked about temperature. That, women during the cycle, they get hotter. Well, we know that many women also, when they're going through menopause, they start the night sweats and the sweating, right? They're using the panty liners to help them with that. And we've got many a testimonial on that. Okay, don't take my word for it. Do your own due diligence. So non-menstruating women and men are using these panty liners. And also, another way that men are using our pads. Now, we don't really talk about this, unfortunately. Let me switch it back to the side. We don't talk about this, but a man who, I'm trying to make sure you all can see here, a man who has cancer, prostate cancer, right? And he opts for surgery, he is going to experience uncontrollable urination. This is a side effect of doing the surgery. Okay. And so the men, when they know that, rather than wearing the diaper depends and all of that, they're wearing these in their underwear. They're putting our pads in their underwear, to help them with the leakage from the uncontrollable urine that they may experience. Excuse me. And another thing to think about as it relates to our elderly, right? Some of them are in hospitals or they're in nursing homes, and many of them are unable to go to the bathroom as frequently or at all. And so they're sitting for hours in the urine. Okay. So the beautiful thing about the construction of our products is that, excuse me, that no sooner than the pad gets wet, everything gets absorbed to the bottom layer of the pad, pulling away from where the liquid came, whether it was urine, whether it was blood. So, for those that experience whatever they experience by having sitting in urine constantly, this eliminates that problem for them. So the elderly are wearing these also. Okay. Um, yeah. So everybody can benefit. But as it relates to our cycle, you're looking at, like I said, a 40-year average, a 40-year average of the need for our products. And so, one of the things that we like to say is, if you're already using it, if you're already in need of it, why not own it? Why not own it? And so, um, for many families, because they don't like sales or whatever, they don't believe in network marketing, multi-level marketing, direct sales. They're just buying it for their family, you know. And we have it to where you can get it so that um, you can have UPS, Amazon, whoever, We have a couple of choices to deliver straight to you every month, the same time every month, whatever date you pick, and you can always change it. You know, excuse me. And so, in a household where there's many women, we have a starter pack that has one of each of our products. Oh, I gotta show you another one. I told you we had another product that we just recently launched, and it is these. And there's 30 of these as well. So what I'm going to do, this is for those who wear the thong song, right? So I'm going to show you what these look like, and I'm going to put that on the board too. Inshallah, very thin. This is the thinnest. Now I don't know anybody. I personally don't know anybody that would wear a thong while they're on their mints, but hey, you never know. So again, completely sealed, very sanitary because it is completely sealed. And here's the tape. And what the thing about ours versus them is that everything is plant based. The adhesive, the plastic uh, is okay. Let me show you what it looks like here. This is what it looks like for the ladies that want to wear the thongs while they're on their cycle. I don't get it, but okay. So I'm going to take that off of here, and you all will see me put that on the board as well, so that those, when I come in contact and I do some demos, they can see every form of the different size pads and panty liners that we have. Okay. So we have a starter pack that you can buy, and for those of you that have many family members, that can consist of the main 5, or it can consist of all 6, and that would come once a month. And I've talked to you all about how, I have a client that noticed the change in her cycle. Your cycle or pad experience will be different every month. You never know. Um, with each time you use it, you'll notice a lot of different things, that it'll get lighter and lighter, or that the cycle, the duration of the cycle is less and less, cut in half for some, and things of that nature. So there is that to look forward to. So you're gonna, your cycle may be that you spot at the beginning. So you'll use the panty liners, and then, like I said, when your cycle actually comes, um, you know, you can start with the moderate because it's not going to be too heavy. Many women say that their heaviest days are the second, third days. And so then as it picks up, you switch to a different one until, when you're on your heaviest day, this is what you're wearing. Okay. And then it may leave the same way in which it began. So after wearing this a day or two, then you go back down to this size, and then back down to this size, and then finishing up with the panty liners. So that's typically what most of our customers, our clients, are saying how their cycle goes. So again, if you would like to become a distributor along with myself and hundreds of thousands of us, we have the Justice for My Jewels Foundation is the nonprofit foundation attached to our company. Um, let's talk. Let's talk. If you all want to become a distributor, if you want to be able to make money, I'm telling you, if I were in front of you all physically, when I talk to people about these products, they've gotten to feel and touch, and they're educated about everything. I've gotten such reactions. Like one time I saw, as I was talking, one woman, she excused herself. I didn't know why. Um, she came back and later told me, she said, as you were talking about everything you said, I was so disgusted. She said, I'm on my cycle right now. I went to the bathroom to take it off. And I got concerned. I was like, well, what are you wearing now? And she's like, oh, toilet tissue. I was like, okay. But yes, so some reactions have been that extreme that, when they find out what's in the competitor pads, they want nothing to do with it. And this is how drastic of a measure that they will go. If they have to wear anything, they'll just wear a toilet tissue. And then as far as going anywhere, they won't during that time of the month, you know, for fear of bleeding out, you know. And then, we like to uh, talk about stop the silent suffering of women and girls. And it's because of our cycle, everything that we endure during our cycle, you know, in America and in countries around the world, many girls aren't able to graduate when they're supposed to because, each month, because of, whatever they're experiencing when they're on their cycles, lessens the amount of time that they're able to be in school. And so, they have to make up those days, and it winds up that they have to repeat a grade or two, before they're able to complete their studies, unfortunately. And so we're trying to put an end to that as well. Make this, more affordable, and it actually is. If you're paying $6 for our pads, you're not going to use, if your cycle is anything like what I described, you're not going to use all of those pads uh, in one cycle. You may, uh, but a lot of women, they're not changing, having or feeling the need to change their pads as often as they might, and having been worn, or having worn rather, the inferior competitor pads. But this is the main reason that we change our pads as often as we do, because it's not absorbent. See, still, I've been talking to you all this time, and the water is still in this pad. Okay. So, whereas ours is still solid. And many women, when I've done this in person, as they feel, they're like, "Oh, this is like what's in the baby diapers." It is. That's because it is. It's the exact same thing. So they started out thinking about our babies, but then as we got older, they forgot about us, and and gave us all this junk. This is the our polynomer is plant based. Okay, it's plant based. So, um, any questions? I didn't see any questions. I wanted to make sure that when I did this, that I allowed enough time for any questions, and to be done in enough time that those who might be watching, and you know um, they're on the East Coast in particular, that they would have enough time to be able to prepare themselves for Jumu'ah, for those that are going to the masjid today. So, any questions? So if you're not following me, please follow me. There'll be many more opportunities for presentations like this. This is my first one, and having been able to go live on TikTok on this particular channel. So, you know, those of you who know me know I have quite a few on TikTok, and just trying to get to that 10K, that magic number there, 10K. Anything you all could do to help me get there would be great. So let me know your thoughts. For those of you that have been here for a while, what are your thoughts about the information that I have shared? What, for those of you that may have been watched or have watched the previous post that I made, the reel, with regards to the study in the metals, on in the tampons. What are your thoughts about that? Many of us were decided, uh, we decided that we're not going to wait another 10, 20, 30 years for them to find more conclusive information on, metals or anything else that are in the tampons, and that we are, going to switch to something else. And I pray that, you know, that you switch to our pads. Again, healthypadsplus.com, or you can, scroll up. That link is within the link tree. I got many links in there, but, look for uh, Rain slash Jewel sanitary napkins. The first name that we had was Jewel, but we found out that that was trademarked. So uh, Mr. Crump and his family came up with Rain. Okay, let's make it rain, you guys. And again, for those of you who have daughters, nieces, I mean, this is a product for everyone. It's not just for women and girls. And with everything that I've shared with you, that's a proof there that everybody can benefit by using our pads and panty liners. Okay. I see others have joined us. Thank you so much for joining. Thank everyone for joining. Barakallahu fikum. I didn't see any questions, but for those of you that just came in, I will allow you to ask any questions if you have any before we go. My goal today was to educate you all about the product, um, and then to hit that 90-minute mark, which I did, alhamdulillah. I knew I would if I did the side by side comparison. Usually we don't do that. We just focus on ours and just educating you by telling you everything, all the things that I've already shared. But I was aiming for that 90 minutes. So this helped me to do that. So if you would like for me to come, if you have excuse me, sister group, a sorority, a nonprofit, um, and you would like me to come and do a talk, um, I have that information available as well. I like to empower our women and girls as it relates to uh, getting products, high quality products. And this is what I call a quality product, so that, you have a better menstrual cycle. You have an opportunity, if you choose, to make some money. You know, this is a need based product that every household where there's a female is in need of. And so, you always have an opportunity to make money, because of that, if you choose. So, if you're like the rich or wealthy, they believe in multiple streams of income, you should get involved with us so that you can embark upon at least, one other way to make money, and leaving a legacy of wealth with your offspring that can be passed down, inshallah. So again, let me just make sure I don't think I saw any questions. Yeah, no questions, no questions. Yeah, this is my second live since, I hit that pinnacle 1,000 mark, going for 10K, of course, but milestone by milestone. So the next one is obviously the 5K, inshallah. So if you all can help me get there, if you found this useful, hopefully you all have shared it, and that's why there's so many of you all here. And then, I'm not gonna keep this live. They won't, TikTok won't let me keep the full live. I think you get the 10 minutes. If I download this, I'll have the 10 minutes, and I'll keep that. But the full one will be available on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and StreamYard. So for those that didn't catch it in the beginning, that's where you'll be able to catch it from the beginning all the way to this point, inshallah. So, excuse me. Thank you so much for joining. We're about ending, unfortunately. So again, anyone with any last minute questions that you can think of before I go? I hate that you all just joined. But I've been here for more than 90 minutes. Alhamdulillah. I was aiming for the 90 minutes and that I hit it. Alhamdulillah. So I don't know that my future lives will be this long. Um, some of them may, but for the most part, I'm going to try to keep it at an hour. That way, for sure, at least with TikTok, I'll be able to have the full live that I can upload for you all, for those that will catch it later, inshallah. Alrighty. So, no questions. I see no questions. And of course, I can't see your alls, unfortunately. So, DM me if you all think of any, please. Alrighty, I'll close. Subhanaka Allahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Ameen. And as I always say, be resilient, inshallah. Have a good rest of your day, afternoon, or morning, wherever you are in the world. And inshallah, for those of you that are not following me on Clubhouse, follow me on Clubhouse. The main house that I'm in, I have two. Alhamdulillah, Allahumma barik, is taking care of 545 and Muslim storytellers. If you're not members of either of those houses, feel free to become one. If you have a topic in which you feel that we need to discuss, please let me know. If you are a storyteller, let me know. Or if you know good storytellers, I want to know who they are also, so that they can be featured in any of our upcoming rooms. So that's it. Excuse me. We do have some rooms already scheduled. In fact, yeah, I believe we have one scheduled for tomorrow, and then on Sunday as well. So feel free to join those rooms. Most favorite of them are my Sunday rooms and my Wednesday rooms, which are Muslim Women Wednesday. We have plenty of replays for you to catch up on. We've been on TikTok. We've been on Clubhouse for almost 4 years now. Alhamdulillah, Allahumma barik. And but they just gave us the ability to record the rooms in 2021. So in November, in November of 2021. So almost every room that we've done has been recorded, and so you all have plenty that you all can go back and listen to. Alrighty. Thank you so much for the hearts. I did see some hearts here and there, and I want to thank you so much for that, Barakallahu Fikum. All right. Again, have a good rest of your day, inshallah, and be resilient, inshallah. And assalamu alaikum and greetings.